Israelites, what it do, family? What it do? I got a couple of words I want to share with everybody, family. And I have a couple of scriptures to share and a couple of little clips on the video. But I want to say, I call this Israelite family, why was Psalm 83 so adamant about hiding our identity? Why were they so adamant about not letting us know exactly who we are? It's because they fear us. They knew and they know exactly who our Father is and the power that He has, and that the power that He has given all of His chosen, His offspring, us Hebrews, the Israelites. And I'll show you scriptures showing exactly that. See, this is what they're afraid of. And they told our people, we can't keep His 10 commandments because they was trying to disconnect us from the source of our power. And that is our Father, Yahuwah Elohim Almighty, the Most High. Okay. And they passed it all the way down to our people. And this is what you have in so-called Sunday Christian churches. And the pastors are adamant about telling the congregation, we don't keep the commandments. They tell lies and say just anything. Well, that was nailed to the cross with Jebus. Stuff like that. But this is what Psalm 83 taught our people. Okay? And, our people, not knowing who they were exactly, just believed everything Esau in Psalm 83 told them. Okay, but actually Esau in Psalm 83 did it because they was trying to keep our people disconnected from our power, our source. Okay? And so before our people fell under the curses, all nations of the earth, all nations under heaven feared the Hebrews because they knew that we had a Father, and we have a Father who has power like no other, and He has given us a lot of that power. No other nation in the world had the power like our Father, and no other nation in the world had power like the Hebrews before our people fell, family. And so, once our people fell under the curses, and, all the nations got together, like it says in Psalm 83, let us cut them off from being a nation. Let the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. Okay, they all got together because they was all terrified of us. And this is what Yah did to the nations to make them fear His people. I mean, there are stories in the book of Jasher where Jacob and his 10 sons, because Joseph was had been sold away, and Benjamin was just a little dude. He wasn't old enough yet. So it was Jacob and 10 of his sons. They would go to different towns when it was time to get down for the crown, and they would take out tens of thousands of people, just those few men alone. And out of all of them, Yahudah, he was the strongest out of all the sons of Joseph. And there's a passage in the book of Jasher where he killed 20,000 men by himself. By himself with his sword. I mean, some of the exploits and some of the things that they are doing, it's like, wow. And so, these Gentiles, they put a lot of it in movies. They call them the Avengers, the superheroes. They got characters like Thor and Superman and stuff like that, DC Comics. And, they got these men from America and different places with all this power, but they got the information from our scriptures when we fell under the curses. Okay? They just copycat off what our Father, the power that He had given the Hebrews. Okay? So when we fell under the curses, family, they was adamant about not letting us know exactly who we are, and still to this day, the last thing they want us to do is wake up to our true identity and start walking, as Hebrew Israelites, the people who we truly are. They are terrified of that. And so, they will try to ignore it as much as they possibly can because they are terrified of us. Family, and you see how they used to shoot our people down and stuff, and the police say, oh, I was scared for my life and stuff like this. Scripture lets you know exactly who Yah's chosen people are because all the world's nations fear the Negroes. Check this scripture out right here. Okay, I'm going to Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 25. I'll be coming out of the Sefer Bible, of course. Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 25. And I'm seeing it right here. See, it's got Deuteronomy and it's got the Hebrew spelling of it. Okay, chapter 2 and verses 25 is over here. Now, it reads, this day will I begin to put the dread of you and the fear of you upon the nations that are under the whole heaven, who shall hear report of you and shall tremble and be in anguish because of you. See, this is our Father Yahuwah's doing. He put the fear of us upon all nations under heaven. And they know the power that the Hebrews had before we fell. And the nations in the world are terrified that we wake up to who we truly are, family, because they know the power of our Father, and He has given us that power. Okay, now that other scripture, family, will be in the book of Jasher, chapter 54, verse 60. Okay, now here is Joseph. Now here is Judah, talking to his brother Joseph before Joseph revealed to his brothers in Egypt who he truly was. So the scenario is this, that Joseph was telling his brothers, okay, I'm going to keep Benjamin here, but I want you to go back and talk to your father, who was Jacob, name changed to Israel. And so Judah was saying, haven't you heard about the things that we did, to these other nations, that two of us Hebrews, Simeon and Levi, took out the whole town of Shechem? And so Joseph says to Yehuda, out of all your brothers, why are you the only one, just adamant about not going back to the land of Canaan to speak to your father while I keep Benjamin here? And Judah told his brother Joseph that because before we left Canaan, I told my father Jacob that I would be responsible for Benjamin. You know what I'm saying? So Judah was telling Joseph, we are prepared. Me and my brother, we're prepared to destroy all the people in the kingdom of Egypt. He was really hot on the collar. Judah was mad. He was pissed. He's like, we are not leaving without our brother Benjamin. You know what I'm saying? They were saying about all what they can do and trying to remind Joseph about all the things that the 10 sons and their father did to all those towns, killing tens of thousands of soldiers, just 11 men, Jacob and his 10 sons. Like I say, Joseph was in Egypt and little Benjamin wasn't old enough yet. So eventually Joseph told his brothers, that I am Joseph. Okay. So Judah was fired up. But anyway, check this out. See, they don't want us, these nations, these Psalm 83 nations, family, don't want us to know who we are truly, because they know the power of our Father and they know the power of the Hebrews before we fail. All nations of the world know it. That's why they are adamant about keeping the identity of us Hebrews hidden. They call us Negroes, they call us colored, they call us Americans, they call us Brazilians, they call us Afro-Mexicans, all kind of stuff. They don't want us to know that we are Hebrews, family, the Israelites, okay? Check this passage out right here. This would be the book of Jasher, chapter 54, verse 60. And this is Judah, telling his brother, don't you remember when our grandfather Abraham did this? Check it out. Book of Jasher, chapter 54, verse 60. It says here, do you not know, or have you not heard that our father Abraham with his servant Eliezer smote all the kings of Elam with their hosts in one night? They left not one remaining. And ever since that day, our father's strength was given to us for an inheritance for us and our seed forever. You see, family, the strength that Abraham had, that our father gave him, it has been handed down to all of Abraham's offspring, all of his seed forever. That means us, family. So this is one of the reasons why these nations are terrified of us. Terrified of us. I remember when I was working at so many different jobs, being up here in Minnesota 30-some years, and I didn't understand why. I had a talk with my supervisor about it. He was a big guy. He had been to Marines, you know what I'm saying? And, I didn't understand why the drivers, about 30-some drivers on that job, and they all seemed to be fearful of me. And I understand it. And I had a talk with him, my supervisor. I said, Darren, why come, a lot of the guys on the job, like the drivers and stuff, why do they seem so fearful of me? I don't like that, I'm not going to hurt nobody, you know what I'm saying? As long as nobody ain't trying to hurt me. He said, well, because of your build and, your height, it looks intimidating to them. I was like, some of them are way bigger than me, but I'm not afraid of them. But see, that was when I wasn't understanding exactly the power that Yah had given the Hebrews, us Israelites, all of us, carrying it down from Abraham to all his seed. And so I was like, okay. And then as I think back, family, different Chinese people on that same job, because I was there about 20 years, Asian people, I come around the corner, they come around the corner, oh, they always say, you scared me. All these different nationalities of people always would say to me throughout the years, oh, you scared me, I'm scared of you. I said, why? Well, see, it is in Scripture. Yah said that he was going to put the fear of his chosen people on all the nations under heaven. This is why they fear so much, family, because we're Yah's chosen people, and this is what he did. He caused their fear to be on all the nations under heaven toward his people, because the power that he had given us. And so the nations, Psalm 83, they don't want us to know that we are Hebrews, that we are Israelites. They don't want us to know that. The last thing they want us to know is that. They'd rather call us Americans without the African American. They'd rather just call us, you look up anybody from, our people, Google them, it'll say nationality American. They used to call us African American, but they don't do that no more. They would rather call us anything than for us knowing exactly who we are. We're Hebrew Israelites, family. That's who we are. Before our people became a nation of Israel, our people was known as the Hebrews. Now, you got all kind of stuff going on in America. Minnesota, Psalm 83 against Psalm 83 stuff is just getting out of hand. But it's getting like that all around the world. You got protests going on in China, about the Taiwan deal. You got Russia and Ukraine going at it. And Europe is falling to pieces because all the immigrants that they let in, they're tearing the cities up in those countries in Europe. So check this out. Okay, this is something that's going on in the States.
So far, we brought hundreds of criminals off Federal agents raided a Minneapolis judge's estate and allegedly recovered nearly $100 million to the Sinaloa cartel. What started as a single raid has blown open some cartel distribution networks operating in plain sight. Hundreds of millions in fraud flowing through protected systems, judges overturning jury convictions, and federal agents now clashing head-on with state leadership. Minnesotans, don't take the bait. Do not take the bait.
You got some of that money too.
To deploy federal troops into here. And what agents uncovered next explains why thousands are being arrested and why top officials...
You see what I said in a few videos ago, family? Those seats that they be running for political office is just a front for criminal activity. Governors, mayors, judges, police chiefs, mayors, all of them. That seat is just a front for criminal activity because politicians can't be investigated. They make the laws. They commit all kind of crime. There was a mayor down in my hometown, passed away, rest his soul, may God rest his soul. I kind of liked that guy, but he became mayor when I was a resident of Minnesota. But before I moved out of the state of Indiana, I was on my way to Jackson, Mississippi back in 1993. I was in Jerry's Lounge, just waiting, killing time before my Greyhound bus came up. And, back then my life was not in yacht. But anyway, bartender gave me a plate of food. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I didn't order this. He said, compliments of Councilman so-and-so, so-and-so. I ain't gonna say his name. And I looked down the other end of the bar and I said, hey, thanks a lot. Hey, whenever you run for office, you got my vote. But anyway, he became mayor, like I said, when I was a resident of Minnesota. But he passed away. Now the salary of a mayor in Gary, Indiana probably couldn't have been no more than $50,000, $60,000. But you know what? When he passed, they found $1 million in his home. $1 million. Where all that money come from? See, politicians, they campaign for political office and stuff like that because they know they'll be able to get away with anything they want to. That seat is a front for criminal activity. That's all it is. That's what I say. But you see a lot of the truth is coming out. A judge hooked up with the cartel in Mexico. They found $100 million in his home. A judge.
Get them all. In June 2024, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison charged Abdel Fattah Youssef and Lul Ahmed with stealing $7.2 million from Medicaid through their company Promise Health Services, and prosecutors documented a scheme running from 2018 to 2023 that involved overbilling, double billing, and phantom services for personal care assistance that was never actually provided to patients. The evidence included $387,000 in cash withdrawals and over $1 million transferred to personal accounts for luxury purchases. And in August 2025, a jury convicted Youssef on 6 counts of aiding and abetting theft by swindle after reviewing all of that documentation during trial. 2 months later, Hennepin County Judge Sarah West threw out the conviction by ruling the evidence was circumstantial.
Threw it out. Threw it out. Watch how the jury reacted.
Mother could have committed the fraud alone, despite the jury reaching a different conclusion after hearing weeks of testimony and examining the financial records. Jurors went public with their shock at the ruling, with one describing the fraud as obvious based on what they reviewed during trial.
And the judge threw it out. They need to investigate her. Maybe she got a cut. Obvious fraud. This crooked stuff going on up here in Minnesota and the ICE. Okay, now I got something else to share that's going on over in Europe. See, it ain't just, a lot of stuff going to haywire here in America. It's happening all around the world. Esau's kingdom and Psalm 83's kingdom is coming down. Check this out. What's going on in Europe?
Adding to a chorus of recent accusations, the woman convicted for her leading role in the state's eating.
No, this is something else. Hold on, I got that other video.
Now pointing her finger directly at the governor and claiming that both he and his fellow Democrats were well aware of the fraud for much longer than they're all letting on.
You see?
You see what I mean, family?
You see what I'm saying? I told you, ain't no way they could be so against the federal ICE agents trying to clean up Minneapolis. They trying to, use it like they just so, they care so much about the immigrants, and they just going out of their way to protect the immigrants. Do you really believe that they love them immigrants that damn much? No, of course not. That's just a smoke screen so the federal officers won't uncover their own dirt, the things that they have been participating in that are illegal. I'm talking about the mayor of Minneapolis and the governor of Minnesota, and Congressman Ilhan Omar. You know what I'm saying? They don't love them immigrants that much, y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's just a smoke screen to keep the people inciting riots and being disruptive and agitating the ICE agents, prolonging them from that dirt being discovered. That's all it is. They don't love them immigrants that much. Now, I had another video, family, a little short clip I wanted to share with y'all about some stuff that's going on in Europe. I think I know what I did with that, all that chaos and tear gas being shot at rioting citizens up in the countries in Europe. What happened was that I actually recorded it on the phone that I'm doing the video on. And I supposed to have recorded it on here. This is the one I record the stuff that I want to show my YouTube channel. Okay, but maybe I'll save it for another time, or it's gonna be something else jumping off anyway, because all hell is breaking loose in Esau's kingdom worldwide, just happening little by little. And I heard our brother Big Judah saying earlier today, we're praying that the Most High allow us to come to the head, let this be manifested in the natural. We're already the head spiritually. So I'm join with him in prayer and the rest of the family with asking our Father to speed up the fall of our oppressors, Psalm 83, that we might become the head physically too. Okay, so because they have shamed us before the whole world. They shamed us with all nations on earth. You know what I'm saying? And they've been doing it for centuries. They made us look so bad to all the nations on earth. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll join in and, ask our Father to bring that kingdom down, Godspeed. Okay? So, family, this is what I wanted to share, that they were so adamant, Psalm 83, so adamant about, hiding identity and keeping us from knowing exactly who we are, Hebrew Israelites, because they know the power of our Father and they know the power of the Hebrew people, the people of Yah, the chosen people of Yah. And so they got together collectively, confederately, and, hid identity and stuff because they were all terrified of us. And they're still terrified of us. And they are very terrified of this awakening of the Israelites back to our true identity. So all praises to the Most High Yah for all that he is doing. And all praises to the Most High again for all that he's doing and our brothers and sisters that are spreading this truth around the world. So family, until next time, may Yah bless each and every last one of you. I'm Brother Judah Israel for those who don't know me. So until next time, may Yah bless you. On love and shalom.